Well, good afternoon and welcome back to the Little French Homestead. My name is Sherry, and if you are new to my channel today, welcome. So, I have a confession. I just went to the grocery store last week and I spent almost $200. And when I was looking at the receipt, I had no idea what I actually bought. My fridge is full. My pantry is bursting, but yet every single night when I go to cook dinner, I get that familiar sinking feeling of, well, I have nothing to eat. Well, at least also too, that's what my family tells me. But it makes no sense. I have a feeling I'm not the only one who feels this way. So I'm cutting myself off. For a full 2 weeks, I am not setting in the grocery store at all. No quick trips, no impulse buys, nothing. I am on a mission to use only what I already have right here in my house. What I have discovered about my own habits and the food I was ignoring will genuinely shock you. First, I did have to set some ground rules to make this challenge really difficult. Rule number 1, the big one. Absolutely no grocery shopping for 14 days. That means no online orders and no farmers markets. Rule 2, no restaurants or takeout. The whole point is to use the foods that I have, not just to avoid cooking. My one exception is my milk for the morning coffee and our family's cereal, because some things are not negotiable. With those rules in place, it was time for the hard part, the inventory. And honestly, this is where it got a little embarrassing. If you see in my refrigerator right now, you can see that there's really still a lot in there, but not a lot to actually make something with. So first up, after we looked at the fridge, we just went straight over to the pantry. And I have all of this organized chaos that was over there, and some collections of some canned goods that I don't even remember buying. Like I said, the fridge wasn't even better. We had a few things in there that I actually took out before I showed you that video, because it was a little bit embarrassing of some of the Tupperware containers in the back. So now what we are going to do. The first 3 days, surprisingly, was getting pretty easy. It actually felt like a fun game. The mission was clear. Use up everything on the verge of getting ready to go bad. I had some lettuce in the back that needed to get used up. We have those big pile of eggs in there, so we just needed to make some breakfasts and some egg salads and help eliminate that sad bits of carrots, and those celery stalks did become a base for some soup that I will be showing you later on. Not in this video, but another one. This phase out is all about the low-hanging fruit. I was finally using all of the leftovers in the fridge instead of letting them turn into a biohazard. I made a kitchen sink stir fry with some rice, some frozen peas, some bell peppers, and on its last legs. For the first time in a long time, my fridge was actually starting to look a little bit more organized. I actually could see the back of it. It felt incredibly empowering. I was saving food, and I could already feel the impact on my wallet without doing any of the math. That constant low-level guilt I have always have about food waste started to disappear, and it felt surprisingly resourceful. I was forced to confront my habit of letting perfectly good ingredients sit around just because maybe my dinner plans have changed. Around day 6, it did get a little harder. The easy stuff was all gone. All the fresh produce was all used up, and the leftovers were eaten. And I was back to staring at my chaotic pantry. This is when some old habits came roaring back. I genuinely had a moment of panic thinking, well, now I really have nothing to eat. The urge to just run to the store for some bags of salad and some chicken was intense. I was craving something specific that I couldn't make, and I felt completely stuck. But a rule is a rule, so I forced myself to dig a little deeper. Way in the back of the freezer, behind some burnt corn, I found some unlabeled foiled brick. And I figured it was now or never. I thought it out, and it turned out to be a pork shoulder. I thought that I bought it on sale months ago, and I totally forgot it existed. The turning point was really this. A shocking discovery wasn't the pork itself. It was the realization that I was running out of food. I was just a terrible inventory manager. This pork shoulder became my personal challenge, and I spent the afternoon looking up recipes using only the ingredients that I already had. I found one for pulled pork that just needed a few spices and a can of crushed tomatoes from the pantry. That night, I made pulled pork sandwiches on some stale buns that I had brought back to life from the oven. They were amazing. It felt like I made a little gourmet meal out of something that you would pull out of thin air. But the truth is, the ingredients were there the whole time. That pulled pork was a revelation. It proved my kitchen was full of possibilities. I just wasn't looking hard enough. If you've ever found something ancient in your pantry and you felt that mix of guilt and confusion, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we are all in this together. And you have to let me know in the comments, what was your weirdest or oldest thing that you've ever found hidden in your kitchen? Now, the second week was a complete 180. The mindset shift was real. Before I even thought about what I wanted to eat, I started a shop my pantry list. I opened up the cupboards and the freezer and just asked, okay, well, what needs to be used up next? This simple change unlocked so much creativity. I started practicing the first in, first out system without even realizing it. I just consciously pulled the oldest cans and the packages to the front so that I'd see them and use them first. It's such a simple concept, but it is one of the best ways to keep a kitchen organized and cut down on the waste. That bag of spent flour I've been ignoring, I experimented and made some rustic, slightly weird, but totally edible flatbreads. I combined those 3.5 empty boxes of pasta into one giant multi-shaped pasta bake with cans of tomatoes and some cheese. I wasn't tied to any specific ingredients and recipes anymore. Instead, I was just cooking with concepts. A little of this and a little of that. It was liberating. I wasn't just surviving the challenge, I was thriving in it. And it turns out you can make a lot of new meals just from the ingredients that you already have, especially if you plan around what needs to be used up. I was actually excited to figure out dinner, and my kitchen had never felt cleaner. After the 14 days, the challenge was over. The first thing I did was sit down and look at the numbers. On average, for a family of 5, I spent about $500 a month on groceries. which for 2 weeks is about $300. So boom, I just saved $200 right off the bat. But that money was only the half of the story. The real big reveal was about how much food I actually rescued. I counted at least 10 cans of beans, some soups, and some veggies that I finally used up. I finished 4 different bags of frozen vegetables. I used the entire pork shoulder, the forgotten quinoa, and the countless half-empty jars of sauces and condiments. That was all money that I already had spent, and I would have basically thrown it away in the trash by letting it expire. This challenge shows me that buying food without checking what you already have is one of the biggest sources of household waste. So, what did we really find out after not going to the store for about 2 weeks? Well, the biggest lesson was this. My food waste wasn't the problem, and it had nothing to do with it. Not having enough food, and everything to do with a lack of planning and visibility. My pantry was a food desert. It was a museum of good intentions, dying in their own right. This whole experience proved that doing better, inventory checks, meal planning, and using smart storage can drastically reduce waste and save money. Because isn't that what we all want to do in the end? Is have more money in our pockets so we can go and do other things with it. The second lesson was that meal planning is a superpower, but most of us use it as it's backwards. We decide what we want, make a list, and then buy it all. This has taught me to flip the script, and now I start with what I have. Planning meals around your existing groceries is a game changer for you and your wallet, cutting down on waste. And I've also learned my kitchen is way more self-sufficient than I ever gave credit for. We think we need specific ingredients for specific recipes, but this challenge has taught me to be a little bit more flexible. It shows me that minimalist food habits can work for everyone, and a huge part of that is keeping your storage simple and visible, not cramming with stuff you forgot that you bought. In the end, this experiment has permanently changed my relationship with food. I am not saying that I'll never make any impulse buys again, but I will never look again at my full kitchen after I had just spent $200 or so on groceries and think I have nothing to eat. Well, this challenge is now over, but the mindset is here to stay. I am going to keep shopping my pantry once a week, and I seriously encourage you to try it too. You will be shocked with what you find deep down in the bottom of your freezer or your pantry or your refrigerator. Everybody has done this once or twice in their life. Sometimes we do it more often than we thought. I would just like to say thank you so much for allowing me to come into your home today. And if you like this video, go ahead, like, share, go ahead and place a comment down below, but go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell to be alerted to all my new videos. I will pop a couple up on the side Until my next upload, keep on cooking. Bye.